So something weird seems to happen when I take these recordings from my OBS studio, which is recording my screen, and run them through my video editor, my Premiere Pro editor. It gets really weird and all kinds of bugs, and you can't hardly see the video. So this I may just try straight uploading from here up to YouTube, and we'll see how that works, which isn't something that I normally do, but I know we want these lessons and I want to do them in a way that you'll be able to actually see them. So, hi, it's Lorrie here, and welcome to my world. Today we are going to discuss Photopea and the basic work area of Photopea. So this is Photopea.com, and it's just Photopea.com. And if you're not familiar, it is an image editor that works very closely to, or very much like Photoshop. It's not Photoshop, but it's very similar. So what we're going to do first is we're going to look, well, first we're going to open a picture. So you can see right here in the middle, and I'm hoping that my mouse is showing because on one of my other recordings it wasn't. But you can see here in the center we've got the logo, and then it says New Project, Open from Computer, PSD, Templates, or Demo. We're going to go ahead and open from Computer, and now you would browse to wherever you have your image saved. Mine just happens to be right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it. And that's just to kind of see, if you were really watching, you'll notice that I now have, well, of course, my center icons and stuff are gone to be replaced with my picture. This big area here where my picture is, this is my workspace my workspace. And then over here on the right hand side, you might notice that I have all these layers suddenly in this layers palette that I can actually, these are all the layers that are in this image, and I can turn things on and off at will using the little, it looks kind of like an eyeball beside the name of the layer. Yeah, so that's what the layers palette is for. And then right above that, you can see I have a history palette. And right now that only says open. And that's because I haven't really done anything other than, hide some layers, which we're going to go ahead and turn the ones back on that I want and turn the ones off that I don't want. And we'll just leave that there for now. But anyway, you can also see beside the history there are some little buttons, and we'll go a little bit more into those later. Those are actually settings for tools. So as we go over and start going through the tools, we'll get to those later. Sorry, I don't want to confuse you, and I know I can't edit this, so I'm just going to try to go as smoothly as possible. But so we have the layers over on the right hand side. Above that we have our history, and then over on the left hand side we have this long column of icons that can be a little bit confusing, to say the least, when you're first looking at them. So we're just going to very quickly we're just going to touch on what each of these tools are and what they do. So the top one is the Move tool. When you click on that, you can see that it also has an artboard tool. Below that, we have a selection tool. We have a rectangle or an ellipse, and that would allow us to then select an ellipse, a circle. You can see that as I'm selecting one, the other one just kind of disappears. Below that, we have our lasso select and our polygonal lasso select and a magnetic lasso select. And we'll get into using all those. They're just tools to help you select different things on your screen more easily. So underneath that, we have a magic wand. Also, we have a quick selection and an object selection tool. Oh, sorry. I don't want to have one layer selected. Underneath that is our crop tool. We also have a perspective crop, a slice tool, and a slice select tool. So we'll get to those. Probably won't use them very often. Underneath that, we have an eyedropper and a ruler. Below that, we have our Band-Aid. These are our healing tools. We have a spot healing tool, a patch tool, a red-eye tool, and I'm not familiar with the content aware move tool yet, but we'll get that figured out too. Underneath that, we have our brushes. We have a brush, a pencil, and a color replacement. Underneath that, we have a clone tool. Then we have an eraser. We have an eraser and a background eraser, which is quite interesting. We'll take a look at that. Under that, we have our fill tools. We have both a gradient fill tool and a paint bucket tool. A paint bucket fill tool. Under that, we have a tool for blurring, sharpening, and smudging. Under that, our dodge, burn, and sponge tools. And so, like a lot of these tools, you probably won't use very often. We will eventually cover all of them, but we're going to start with the more used tools and go from there. So one of the most used tools is, of course, your text tool. You have both a type tool and a vertical type tool. Below that, you have your pen and your free pen. Below that, you have a path select and a direct select. And we will eventually, like I said, we'll get into doing paths. Let's not go there right now because it will just complicate things. Under there, we have shapes. And we have a variety of different shapes: rectangle, ellipse, line, a parametric shape. So, and if you've been watching, you might have noticed that up here on the top row, as I go to the different tools, those things are all changing as I'm doing that, which kind of gives you the indication that these tools are associated, or these settings are associated with these tools. So if I have my parametric shape, I've got a red fill, I've got no stroke. I can put, let's go ahead and just put this yellow pattern stroke on here. Just to see what happens. We'll call it let's go with a star. And we've got some different radiuses, a corner radius and a inner radius. We'll make the corner radius like that. And then we'll come here and we'll draw, and you can see that now it's a star. I can grab my move tool and I can move it. Anyway. Oh, and look at now my history. Look at my history has a whole bunch of stuff that I've done here now. So I can go back to where I opened my picture, and anything that I have done is I've just erased it. I can go through and select things bit by bit, things that I did before, or I can just go back. But anyway, that's what your history is handy for, is for going forward, backing up, looking at things from a different angle. Okay, so we were at the shapes. Underneath the shapes, we have our hand tool that helps us to move things and rotate the view. Underneath that is a zoom tool. And underneath that, you'll see two colored boxes. Right now, one is white and one is blue. If you click on the little white and black box right in the top right corner, it'll reset those two colors to their default, which are black and white. So now, when you look at these colors, you can think of them as being the foreground and the background. So the foreground would be like your pen color, and the background would be your paper color. So right now my paper is white, but if I wanted to have pink paper, I could change my paper color to pink. I could change my pen color to bright red, and then I could write with my text tool whatever I wanted to write. And ta-da! Oh, and look at that, totally just that's funny because it actually took the color from up here as opposed to the color from down there. So I showed you the changing colors there for no reason at all. Anyway, we're not going to worry about it. I am going to delete that layer. So at the bottom of my layers palette, you can see here I have some little buttons. One of them looks like a little trash can, and I can click on that and delete that layer. Okay, almost done, guys. Next, underneath the colors are the quick mask mode. And if you go back and watch my how to remove the background video, you can see me using this quick mask mode. And of course, we will use it together because we'll do some removing of backgrounds. And then at the bottom of that is I think it's probably best used or mostly used for the app, but it gives you that Control-Alt-Shift option of those keys, which you don't necessarily have on your phone and stuff. Of course, I have those on my keyboard attached to my computer, but if you are doing this on your phone or a tablet, you may not have those keys. And so that's kind of handy that it's got them there for you. So if you're needing to do a Control C to copy or a Control A to select all, or whatever of those keyboard shortcuts that you're wanting to use and you don't have those keys, you've got them here. So that is kind of lovely. And that's going to be it for the first lesson. So we've gone over what the tools are. We've discussed our work area, which is this big area in the center. And we talked a little bit about these boxes over here, especially the layers palette, which is very important, and the history palette. So we're going to call it a day for today. I know it's just a short, sweet lesson, but it's been a headache getting it together because it hasn't wanted to record properly. So I am going to just try to finish it off and say goodbye and say thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your time. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you have any questions or hints for future lessons, let me know in the comment section. I will see you very soon. Take good care of yourself. Bye now.